Academy, which is like my hometown venue. I'm from South London. I want to headline Brixton Academy. I want to play Glastonbury. Like, for me, live has been everything from when I was just starting out. Those were all my ambitions. So I think the idea of like a world without live music is something that I'm really wrestling with on this record.
When you do have, but you did have a big, I mean, you had a lot of big songs, but you did get a thing that you couldn't have predicted and wasn't in your plans and doesn't happen to everybody. When Dog Days becomes like, that is King from Florence and the Machine. You've called the song a reflection on art and womanhood. Can you tell me more about that?
It's weird. I think it's like family and like marriage and all those things. Those are things that I had never thought about, that it was always like the stage, the gigs, the work is everything. And I just figured that family stuff would just kind of happen. Like, I just thought that would just, I didn't realize that that's also something you have to work a lot on yourself and work for and work towards. And it is also so, you have to make yourself so vulnerable, and it takes a lot of work to make yourself available for those kind of things. And it's weird, like, I guess being around this age is like the desires for family and domesticity are creeping up on me almost despite myself, despite my like logic, despite my striving to be the king, almost like the biggest, best performer I can be. I feel these almost like these like haunting things that aren't logical to me. I'm just like, shut up. Like, shut up. Like, so I think with some of the like more horror aspects, it is this sense that like these desires are sort of coming for me, whether I find them logical or not.
You said something I read about that, where you said that a lot of my idols in music have been men in my performing career, and now you're grappling with things like this, which is decisions that your idols who have been men have never had to grapple with.
I just never realized how much time touring took out of your life until I turned 35, and suddenly those years as a woman from 35 to 40 become insanely precious if you want to have a family. And the kind of grief of that and the rage was so profound, because I don't think I thought about it until the day I turned 35, which I maybe wouldn't advise. But I was just so like, I think the scream at the end of King is just sort of the frustration of like, I felt like my path was so clear, and I would just follow in the footsteps of my idols. And then I just got to this point where I realized our paths had to converge. I did feel like a lot of grief and frustration about that, about some sense of, although people are like, you don't have to choose. I think that's impossible. I do decisions. And so, yeah, the wrestling of that, I found that it wasn't going to be as easy for me, although I don't think it's really easy for anyone, but bodily, I was going to have to make decisions that my idols didn't have to. And yeah, that was really, I felt angry.
I appreciate you telling me that, Florence, I really do. You mentioned the scream at the end of the song, and it's so personal to you. And everything you just talked to me about is maybe the most personal thing you can write about. But you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But I often hear your concerts and the experiences of being at your concerts and the experiences of listening to your music as being, and this word keeps on coming up over and over again, cathartic. Cathartic, that people feel this release of emotions through your music. What do you make of that? What's your feeling on that?
I think it's because I go somewhere as well in those performances, and you have to open yourself up to take people with you. I think for me, why performance is so essential is it it's kind of about survival for me. Like it's like my sort of day, my head and moving through the world, like in my daily life, is sort of tricky, and then I go up on stage, and all the things that make kind of like me navigating the world hard actually become so useful. You know, the hypersensitivity, like the openness, everything makes sense, and the things that floor me in life become kind of superpowers on stage. But I think you have to go there first, and the audience comes with you. So it's almost like you have to be vulnerable to allow people to let themselves be vulnerable as well. For me, it's a transcendence of the physical, and I think that's also what people want. Everyone wants a second where they are not just a body and a head, but they are all one, all together. And that's what performance does to me. It's like I felt when I was a kid that I didn't have eyes big enough to take in the whole world. I was so annoyed that my eyes couldn't see 360. And there are moments when I perform that I feel like I can take in the whole world, like the note, the room, the people, and there's no separation. And I think that's what it does for me, and I think that's what I'm trying to do for everyone there, is sort of to transcend everything.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, I mean that, and then I'll just like make jokes and what was the Nick Cave thing? He's like, you have to become a small god on stage, and then someone will yawn and like remind you of who you are.
I have so much more to say to you, but I'll wait for another time. What a joy it was to get a chance to talk to you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, it was really nice to talk to you too.
And if you're ever in Canada, please drop by and say hello. We'd love to see you.
We will. We love Canada.
We love you too, buddy. All right, now, take care of yourself.
Whoa. That was Tom Power's conversation with Florence Welsh of Florence and the Machine. The band's new album is called Dance Fever. It's out now. From the album, here's the song, My Love. David Cronenberg. He wrote the script more than 20 years ago. And true to form, Cronenberg admits the film is pretty graphic. In fact, he says he's expecting some walkouts at Cannes. Other big premieres at the festival include a biopic of Elvis. The film Elvis is from director Baz Luhrmann. There's also a lot of talk about the new Top Gun movie. Top Gun Maverick is a sequel to the original 1986 blockbuster. Along with the screening, there's going to be a special tribute to its star, Tom Cruise. The Cannes Film Festival runs until May 28th, and you can stick with us for more updates. Speaking of movies, no spoilers here, but coming up, you'll hear from Céline Sciamma, the acclaimed French filmmaker, about why she doesn't mind spoilers and even encourages them for her new movie, Patis Mama. For now, I'll just tell you that the story melds the past with the present, and maybe it's no coincidence that the film Céline's seen more times than any other is Back to the Future. It's a really cool sounding movie and a neat conversation. You will hear it in a moment. I'm Talia Schlanger, sitting in for Tom Power, and Q is back in a bit.
This is CBC Radio 1, 89.1 FM in Waterloo region. What do 80 adventurous days, 9 farming children, and 2 single siblings all have in common? They're new this month on CBC Gem. David Tennant stars in the classic tale Around the World in 80 Days. The Owen family and their 9 kids are back for My Big Family Farm Season 4. And a brother and sister navigate the dating world in pickups and hookups. Find them streaming for free this month on CBC Gem. The news is next. Coming up in half an hour, it's The Cost of Living with Paul Havershrud.
Trailer parks haven't always had the best reputation in this country. Ricky, Julian, Bubbles, you didn't help. But now, more Canadians are finding the answer to the housing question can actually be found in a mobile home. From CBC News, it's The World This Hour. I'm Joe Cummings. Prince Charles and Camilla fly into St. John's, Newfoundland today, kicking off a brief 3-day visit to Canada. So here now from Thomas Dagla.
Hello, welcome to McDonald. Stevie, question you're using my workspace today?
Hi, can I get fish fillet meal, please?
A fish fillet, just a sandwich, or do you want the meal?
Meal, please.
Okay. What would you like for your drink?
Iced coffee?
Iced coffee. Anything else?
That's all.
Wonderful, Jared. You can come on through to the first window. It's 11:51 today.
Thank you.
Okay. And it's for your second line. Sorry, it's just not letting me bring it up.
That's okay.
On debit today?
MasterCard? Credit?
Fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you.
There's iced coffee.
Thank you.
Lori Brister, CBC News, Kyiv.
Alberta Premier Jason Kenney is back in Washington today for an appearance before a Senate Energy Committee. This is part of Kenny's ongoing promotion of the Alberta oil patch as a reliable energy partner for the United States. Also on Capitol Hill, a congressional hearing is underway on unidentified flying objects, also commonly known, of course, as UFOs.
We know that our service members have encountered unidentified aerial phenomena.
That is Ronald Moultrie, a senior intelligence official at the Pentagon. The hearing is the first of its kind on Capitol Hill in more than 50 years. It comes after an intelligence report last year documented more than 140 individual cases of aerial sightings that could not be explained. The committee chairman says the country needs to know more about these unexplained occurrences. The gas pumps have run dry in Colombo, the capital of Sri Lanka.
We are here from morning 4:30, so we are expecting petrol to come, but still we have not received it. And we are getting the news that it won't be arriving today.
That's one of thousands of drivers who spent the night in their cars waiting for the pumps to open, and for the most part, they never did. In the capital and across the country, fuel shortages have become the norm, as Sri Lanka is in the midst of an escalating economic crisis. The government says it is in the process of securing a series of international loans to pay for essential imports such as fuel. Toronto Maple Leaf star Mitch Marner was the victim of an armed carjacking last night. Police say Marner had his Range Rover stolen by 3 suspects armed with guns and a knife. They say the 25-year-old was unharmed. The incident occurred at a movie theater parking lot west of the city. And that is the world this hour. For CBC News, I'm Joe Cummings.
Here is your Environment Canada weather forecast for Waterloo Region and Wellington County. We are in for a mainly sunny day today, high of 15. Tonight will be clear with a low of +3, risk of frost overnight. Tomorrow looks like another mainly sunny day. Clouds will start to roll in near noon. There's a 40% chance of showers late in the afternoon, high of 16. The night will be cloudy with a 60% chance of showers, low 7. Thursday, mix of sun and cloud, high 21, low 14.
You're listening to Q on CBC Radio 1 in Canada and across North America on Sirius XM 169 and PRX. I'm Talia Schlanger, sitting in for Tom Power. As a rule, we don't usually like to give away spoilers about new films, but with this one, it's kind of hard to avoid. And as you will hear, the director doesn't mind at all. The movie Patis Mama is already being described as one of the best movies of the year. It's about an 8-year-old girl named Nellie. Her grandmother has just died, that's her mother's mother, and her family are at her mom's childhood home to pack things up. Next door, there's a forest where Nellie spends her days. She meets another little girl who is the same age and looks just like her and shares the same name as her mom. And here's where we're going to do what almost every other film review has done and tell you the plot twist. And to be fair, even the title of the film tells you what's going on because Petite Maman translates to little mom. Anyway, turns out Nellie's new friend is her mother as a young child. The acclaimed French filmmaker Céline Sciamma wrote and directed the movie. Tom Power had a chance to talk with her recently from Paris about Petite Maman, and they started with that plot twist.
I think to fully enjoy the film, you must fully know about this idea. If some people they doubt the idea while watching the film and they don't get the full experience. So you're right to say it.
That lack of tension I felt in the spoilers part of it was kind of leads to a question I wanted to ask you about sort of the lack of tension I felt in the film overall. But before we get to that, I do want to fill people in a little bit. What inspired you to write the film?
Well, this idea, an image actually, that really popped into my mind, and that was like 2 little girls building a treehouse in the forest.